Hello everyone and welcome to this video. I am Atira and today I am here to dive into the world of Java exception handling, especially focusing on how to manage database connections effectively. So by the end of this video, I think that you will understand how to handle errors, prevent program caches, and like handling errors that might occur while connecting to the database, prevent program caches using exceptional handling techniques and all. So first of all, let us know what is exception. So first of all, let us know what is an exception. So I have already mentioned about exceptions and exceptional handling in my previous video. Uh, you can go through that video or not. I am going to just say a bit about that exceptions and exception handling now. So let us take an example like as we are uh, playing today with those database connections and all. So let us go in that way. So let us take an example like imagine that you are writing a program to manage orders in an online store. Then everything was working smoothly until an unexpected error happens, right? Maybe the database connection fails or an invalid SQL statement is executed. So these type of unexpected events are called as exception or called as exceptions. So exception handling, like handling these exceptions allows us to deal with those errors instead of letting them crash or crash the total program. So as we know, exception handling is crucial part of our Java program, like writing a Java program and all. It allows the developers to manage the errors uh, like which can occur during the runtime and make the program more robust and make the developers to build so many reliable applications. Okay, so now let us know about like Java's exception handling type. As we know that there are three built-in exception handling blocks, that is try, catch, and finally. So now let us know about these three blocks. That is the try block contains the code that might throw an exception. Okay, this is where we try to connect the database and perform our operations. And now coming to the catch block are like safety nets. Like we specify the type of exception we want to catch, like SQL exception for database errors. So as we are dealing with SQL database and all, like here we are using the SQL exceptions in the catch block, uh, provide the code to handle it. Now the finally block is like a loyal friend who always shows up no matter what. It executes code regardless of whether an exception occurs or not. Now let us handle SQL exceptions by catching the SQL exception. Like when working with this database exceptions of type, SQL exceptions can occur of like various reasons. In our catch block, we specifically handle this SQL exception to catch these database related errors. Now, mm, we can then display an informative message to the user, log the error for debugging purposes, or take necessary actions. Here, SQL exceptions are a common type of exceptions that may occur when working with databases and all. So there is no specific syntax or something like that. Like these issues can occur when syntax errors or connectivity problems and all. Now, uh, here we can see that catching specific exceptions like SQL exceptions or SQL timeout exceptions. Provide user-friendly error messages are the best practices of handling these SQL effects. Here is an example, like we are gonna use the like SQL exceptions which are gonna execute in the try block and catch the exceptions which may occur in the program. Now, uh, let us know opening and closing of our database connections. So now, for opening a database, first of all, we have to load the JDBC driver. So we have to use the syntaxless class.name method to load the appropriate JDBC driver for our for your database. When you're writing the program, like you have to use the uh, appropriate JDBC driver to connect to the database, connect to your database. So handling exception is like you have to wrap up whole code into try and catch block to handle these SQL exceptions that may occur. And after loading the driver and handling these exceptions using try and catch block, here comes like handling the exceptions comes in the last and in the middle, like loading the JDBC driver. After that, you have to establish the connection using the driver manager dot get connection thing method to create a connection to the database. So, as I mentioned, first of all, opening a database can done by three steps. That is, load the JDBC driver. So you should load the appropriate JDBC driver for your database, and then use the for establishing connection. You have to use a driver manager dot get connection method, like to create a common connection, like create a connection to the database. And then you have to handle the exceptions that may occur in your program, like your SQL code and all, using the try and catch blocks. Now let us know how to close the database base and all. So, for example, like think of connection object is like a what bridge to the database. So, but like any bridge, it's important to close it, right? Any bridge, it is important to close it when we are done to avoid resource leaks and improve program execution. After connecting the object, you have to call the close function to close the connection. Like you have to close the connection to release the object and also ensure clean. Here you have the process how we are going to execute the connect, how we are going to connect with the database, perform required operations, and then closing the database and then cleaning. So first of all, you have to load and register the data class, create connection with the database, create platform to execute SQL queries, execute SQL queries, process require resultant data optional step, and close costly resources. This is the stepwise process we are gonna. So for this, let's go through a program so that you can understand easily. Uh, this is the program which I'm gonna explain you guys so that you can understand how to connect the database and how to handle the exceptions. So first of all, like we are using some of the, we are gonna import the like packages so that we can establish the connection. First of all, SQL.connection driver, SQL.driver manager, and SQL.exception, SQL exceptions. These three have to be imported into your program so that you can smoothly run your program. So we start in this program, we start by building a class. Let us take the class name as database connection demo. And we are defining some variables and connect, like for connecting the details. Like we are taking the string host and like it is host name. Host is nothing but it's host name or IP address of your, if you're using Oracle, like I am using the Oracle database, so it is the IP address of your Oracle database. So As a default, I'm using localhost. It is not my actual IP address of my database, but it is a default for Oracle database. And we have to import, like we have to use the port that this defines the port number, like on which the Oracle database service is listening. So let us set this into a default port for Oracle database, that is 1521. And string database name. This is the one which you have to get by writing a query. That is, like if you have this Oracle, you have to first of all install the Oracle, and you have to set up all those so to get the command line of SQL. And on this command line tool, which for interacting with Oracle database, you have to write this query. After connecting to the database, I am gonna show to it in practically. So this is the query which you have to write to get the database name. So my database name is XC, and then you have to use a URL where you can keep this host and port name, database name, etc. And whenever you're connecting to the Oracle database initially, you have to give some username and password. And mostly we use system as username or like system as username or Scott as username, password as admin for system, and Tiger for password as Scott. So here I am using system and admin because I have initially used system and admin when I have created this Oracle database. Now you are giving this connection to null, and then you have to handle the exceptions, right? So here, here we first of all you have load the driver. You have to load the driver, and then here you have load the driver. You have load the driver. Here you have load the driver, and then establish the connection using this. Inside the try block, you have establishing the connection using this driver manager dot get connection method. So in this method, you have to specify the URL, username, and password that you have already given in the given while loading the register, like loading the driver. Now you have to write a print statement like if this is connected, if the database is connected, then connected to the Oracle database successfully. And during this like running this program, we will get some exceptions. These exceptions should be handled by the catch blocks. So here we are writing SQL exceptions as we know we have already imported the SQL exception package, and we are writing. We already know that it is SQL exceptions. We have to print that exception, and then in this finally block, these statements are gonna, however, it's gonna execute. So if the connection is null or now the connection is not equal to null, then we have to close the connection. As I have mentioned, opening the connection as opening connection is important, closing connection is also important. So after opening the connections and finding the exceptions, you have to close the connection. Uh, Even though you're gonna close the connection, if there may occur any exceptions, you have to use catch blocks to handle those exceptions. So as I said, you should load the driver and all, right? Before you load the driver, you have to have that Oracle driver in your PC. So to download those drivers, yeah, you can visit these websites or not. So now let's execute this code uh, manually. Mm, for these, first of all, like I said, you need to let's use command prompt to execute this code. Uh, Go to C drive and open your Java file directory using these queries, and then open the code, like open the notepad and write the file name. My file name is database connection demo.java. Now you have entered into the file. So the same code is in here, and you have to enter your username and your password, your database name. And I said that you can get the database name using some query that I have mentioned uh, using the command SQL command line, right? So let us get the mm database name first. So I will show you how to get it. So you have to open SQL command line. As I have said that you have to connect, use the in CONN query and write your username, password is admin, and it's connected. Now you have to paste that query here. See, you have got the database name as XC. So I have already told that my database name is XC. You have to type the database name here, and you have to type your username, your password, and I have explained you the code. Now I'm gonna execute it. You have to save the file, Control plus S, remove the notepad, open your command prompt. Now compile the file, Java, save your file name, database connection dot dem, no, connection demo dot Java. Enter. So it's compiled. Now you have to set the class path. Set class path is equals to have to get the class path. After downloading this DBMS driver using that link, you can drive. I'm using that jar file 8. So you have to download this driver into your PC and save it in your program files. And then you have to get the path to it. So how to get the path, I will show you. So in your this PC, C drive, go to program files, Java, JDK, library. You have to save in the library. So here you have the OBJ file. So here is the path. Copy it, Control C, paste in your command prompt is equals to library, that file name, that jar file name. Copy the file name, semicolon dot. Now you have to get the output. So database connection demo. See, connected to Oracle database successfully, and after connecting, you have seen any exceptions are occurred or not. Like you haven't got any exceptions, so any of these queries have not uh, executed. Now the database connection is closed. So this is the practical thing of database connection. Now ensure proper resource cleanup is is really necessary after using the data, after executing the database connections and all. So you have to close the database statements and results that prevent resource leaks. Like if you not close the database connections, it will lead to leaking of information from the database. And you have to close all the input and output files which you have opened, and you have to close the network sockets and all after the usage. And you have to properly dispose the objects so that you can prevent the memory leaks and optimize the like performance. So robust error handling, managing database connections, and continuous improvement is really important in your in writing the database handling connections, like database connection programs. And by following these steps and incorporating, like you can provide a clear and informative uh, Java database connection program. And I think you have understood how to make the connection with the database, and how to close the connection, how to load the driver, and all. And for if you have any feel like any queries, you can feel free to comment below with any questions you might have about exception handling of database connections. Remember to subscribe for more Java programming tutorials. Thank you.